Hello, sunshines. Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host, Heather, known as BunniPhish on Revelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is Monday, the 27th of April, and this is episode 15 or 16. I don't know. You will have seen it on the title. So, setup is a little different today. Last week, I did a Zoom meeting with ladies from my knit group, and my sister was joining in. Normally when I Zoom, I sit at my computer and just use my camera. But since my sister was coming and also using my camera, I decided I would rearrange the living room furniture a little bit for that Zoom chat. And I think I like it, so I'm gonna try it today. Let me know what you think. Does this work? Can you hear me okay? Is the lighting okay? My hair is doing whatever. I'm just gonna address that right now. It's doing what it wants to do, and I'm letting it go because in the time of quarantine, whatever. I will edit in pictures of things that you can't see from this distance, and I hope this works out really well. My door is open because my weather app says it's 30 something degrees outside, but I am really warm right now, so we're gonna leave that door open for a little bit, which means that there may be more car sounds than normal, and the birds are definitely singing, so hope that's enjoyable for you. I do not have as much to talk about as it looks like. This stuff, I'm not talking about this. This is just what I was working on yesterday because Sunday is Scrappy Sunday. So they were on the couch and I was like, I'll leave them. It's fine. Because sometimes I don't put all of my stuff away before bed. Usually I do, but last night I was on a Zoom call with some friends and it went way past my bedtime, so I did not put my knitting away. Whew, that was a lot of talking very quickly. So let's talk about finished objects. I have one thing that I have finished, but I don't have it here because it's blocking. So yesterday, actually I'll start. It's a story. So yesterday I blocked some socks. I had both of these pairs of socks finished and I started blocking these ones yesterday. I only had one pair of sock blockers. So these are the Three-Legged Race by Megan Williams. I had the first sock done last week and I had the second sock. So what were these? These were the toe up version. So I was, looks like in the middle of gusset increases last week when you saw it. So I have the tutorial. The tutorial is up, waiting for Thursday so it can come out. So that's exciting. And yes, socks are finished. They are blocked. And then I was going to block my other pair of socks. And then there was a Zoom call. And I promptly forgot to switch over the socks before bed because I blocked these yesterday morning early and they were dry by the time I went to bed because I put them on the heat vents and it was chilly yesterday, so the heat was going, not so much during the day when the sun was up, but before, probably until about 11 a.m. and then after 7 p.m. they were on. So I was like, okay, by 10 p.m. I'll be able to switch them over. They'll be dry overnight. I woke up at 4 this morning and I was like, I did not switch over those socks. So those socks are very wet and blocking right now. They are the Torrent by Tin Can Knits. The Three-Legged Race are knit out of some unknown green commercial dyed sock yarn, which I was really surprised. I don't remember what this is. I want to say Wisdom Yarns. That seems right in my head, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look around and see if I can find it. But it bled when I was blocking it. They were only in the water they were in cool water with no sort of soap or anything for about 10 minutes. And the water turned not super green, but noticeably green. And they were in a metal cup. And I was like, that's not reflecty from the sock before I pulled them out. I was like, that's definitely bleed. So I didn't expect that. But the socks are finished. All of my socks are on US size 0, 2.0 millimeter needles, And the other socks are knit out of KnitPicks Muse in the Savvy colorway. I don't know anything about KnitPicks Muse. It was sent to me from somebody as a full skein for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. I requested mini skeins and someone was just like, here, I'll send you a whole bunch of yarn. Okay, that's fine. So the other socks, I mean, you'll have seen a picture by now, but they're shorty socks, so they went super fast, and those are some other tutorial socks. Another tutorial finished object is actually all of my finishes this week are tutorial related. I have a little hat that I did a spiral crochet tutorial. There's no pattern that I followed for this, but I talk you through how I made this hat using spiral crochet, which is the same idea as helical knitting, helical crochet. Same idea, except you don't slip anything. You just kind of leave the stitch hanging at a certain point. And it works really well to give you no jogs. So here's the outside of the hat, no jogs. Here's the inside of the hat, no jogs. There is an end still to weave in. I don't know how it's made it 2 days without me weaving in this one end when I wove in all the other ends on everything else. I don't know. But that's the baby hat I used. Just scrap acrylic yarn from my stash. I think the white might be Red Heart Super Saver, and then the blue is kind of a fuzzy textural yarn. Hi, Surreal. We're joined by a host cat who is unsure about this new setup. This is not how the living room is normally set up. What else? Oh, and the pink is some other acrylic. So my last finished object are the cresting mitts, my design out of Northern V Studios in the Northwoods colorway. They are knit from the top to the wrist. So last week I was here, knit down here. I don't know if you can see those from there. We'll see in editing. I am super excited, but now it's too warm for these. Although if I was outside, it would probably be cold because it says it's about 40 degrees out. I'm just warm. Probably because I rearranged half of my living room furniture this morning, and I'm going to put it back when I'm all done, so I'll still be warm. Anyway, cresting mitts. I used all but just a little teeny tiny bit of this yarn. I had just enough left for a square in my sock yarn blanket, and then I think I had like 6 inches after. So that is perfect. These will match the tri-tine I made last month even, out of the same yarn. These have not yet been blocked, and they need to be, because these were, do you remember when I was talking about tri-tine and I had the dog yarn milk catastrophe where Gabriel was drinking milk and the dogs were playing in here and knocked it over onto my fresh skein of yarn? Yes, so this is one of those casualty skeins, so I need to wash these before I put them away for the summer. But they are beautiful. I'm super excited about wearing them next winter. That's everything I finished. That was a lot of finishing. There was a lot of knitting this week. So I guess the next thing we'll talk about is what is in my lap. This was not started last week, not yesterday. This is a little tiny baby sweater. It is going to be the newborn vertebrae. So that's the back of the sweater, and here is the front of the sweater. There is no front of the sweater. That is why it's called the vertebrae sweater. The newborn vertebrae is a free pattern. There's also a baby vertebrae and a mama vertebrae, and I believe both of those are paid for patterns. But I'm just making the newborn size because I had this 50-gram ball of KnitPicks Stroll Glimmer in my stash left over from making leg warmers. About 2 skeins because I wasn't sure how much yarn leg warmers was going to take. Less than 50 grams for little girl leg warmers. I have to get to 22.5 centimeters, which is about the length of my foot. So let's measure. I have my handy dandy measuring tool right here. So I might actually be there because this is the same length as my foot. I like to measure my body parts when I have to figure out how long things are because I don't always have a tape measure on me, but I do have my body on me. So this might actually be where I need to be for the length of the baby vertebrae. That would be exciting. I'm still going to continue knitting on it as I chat to you, maybe if I have knittable moments, because an extra row or two is not going to hurt. I have plenty of yarn left for sleeves and stuff, and I also have a little partial ball left from the first 50 grams, so plenty of yarn. So that's exciting. This will definitely be finished next week, but maybe even by like tomorrow. Although I don't have size 3 double points and I keep forgetting to pause when there's a car. So I'm not going to edit that out this week. Normally I do. I don't have size 3 9-inch circulars, so the sleeves are being held on my size 0 9-inch circulars just for now. And I don't know that I have a full set of size 3 double points. But I guess this won't be the most annoying thing ever to work magic loop on for the sleeves because it's not a lot of body to move around. It'll still be annoying, but it won't be the worst thing ever. Da-da-da-da. So, baby sweater. More exciting. Me-sized sweater. I should have put some of these stitches onto alternate cables so I could try this on. I'm still going to try it on. I'm going to drop stitches, whatever. So last week I was talking about finishing the ball of yarn I was on and finishing the 2 balls of yarn for sweater sleeves, and I did that. So I have 2 more balls of yarn. I don't know if I will use all 6. I'm definitely going to use 5 and part of the 6th, but we'll see because it's already at my waist. So I need it to be at hip length, but I don't know how much I'm going to need to knit for that. And when it's on separate needles, so these aren't falling off, this front closes right here. So it's a really good size. I talked a little bit about on a vlog about how my math worked well, but I wanted to do 1 extra set of increases just to be sure. So yeah, it fits really well. The sleeve length is really good for me. I didn't really follow the sleeve instructions. I did a little bit. You can see here, this is where the decreases happened, but I didn't change the decrease rate even though I was working with worsted yarn instead of sport weight yarn. I just did the decreases as it said and then knit the length, which worked for me. The sleeve is not super baggy or loose, but it is loose enough to fit over another shirt. Okay, I have to take this off. It's too hot now. The yarn that I'm using for that is Plymouth Encore. Picking up those stitches that I just dropped. What about the other side? No stitches from the other side. Good job, me. 'Tis the season for people to start mowing their lawns, or for probably half of my neighbors to have people come out and mow their lawns for them. Which is annoying because do they all do it on the same day? No. So there are lawnmower sounds every single day. And as someone who has noise issues, that's one of them. So not looking forward to that. Okay, I do have one more work in progress. It is tutorial socks. So these are a Regia sock. I don't think I have the tag. Nope, that's long gone. I don't remember. I mentioned it in previous episodes and I just saw my chapstick, and whenever I see chapstick I have to put it on because I am a chapstick junkie. It's true. I've gone through, well, I haven't gone through. I've finished 2 tubes of chapstick since quarantine started. Not brand new, but 2 of my chapsticks have had to be replaced. It's only day 45-ish. It's ridiculous. So anyway, these socks, I had the first sock to the heel last week. I had the second sock started. So now they're both at the heel. And today I will be recording the tutorials for the short row heel sock for 2 at a time, which is really, really simple. But, you know, in case people don't know how to do it, I am recording that today. The cat is sad because I shut the door, but there's lawnmower sounds. So now instead there's cat sounds. We are going to talk about what we read this week. So we finished Chasing King's Killer. Why can't I say this? Last week I said the total wrong title, but it's Chasing King's Killer. So what did you think?
It was actually really good.
Really informative.
Mhm.
Learned a lot of stuff.
And who was King's Killer?
James Earl Ray.
Mhm.
How old was he when he died?
James Earl Ray?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, 32, I think, or 34.
Fail. You obviously weren't listening. He was 39. So we finished that, and that was good. We have not started a new audiobook, but we will be starting this.
Thank you.
Joyful. The Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness by Ingrid Fattel something. I don't know because they covered up the author's name with stickers in both places that it is. It might be Lee.
Okay,
So anyway, yeah, we're going to start that this week. I've been doing a lot of audio reading this week, not so much paper reading. I did read some of Sophie's World, but not a ton of Sophie's World. I don't know. There was one day where I think I read about 50 pages, and I think that's the only day that I read it. I've finished Graceling, and I've talked about this on a vlog, so if you're watching those, it's a little repeat information, but I know a lot of people aren't. So I was listening to Graceling, and the playaway failed. It just stopped working, couldn't get it to work. So I Googled what my options were to continue listening to the book, because who knows when the library is going to reopen. And this audiobook is listenable through YouTube. So if I remember, I will put a link below so that if you want to listen to it during your time of quarantine, you can listen to this audiobook. It's broken into 2 parts. It's a 12.5-hour book. The first part is just about 11 hours, and then the second part is the last hour and a half, I think, or maybe it's 11.5 hours and then 1 hour. It's really good, really interesting, and
it's actually, I heard the end. It's pretty good.
yeah, he was intermittent listening when I had it on YouTube, because I listened to it in the living room one day through the TV. But I also listened to it in my room. I listened to it through my phone.
I basically just came in the living room at a random time. I'm like, I want to listen to this.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The third book in the trilogy. So it's a trilogy, but the first and second books are only, from what I've read, are only a little bit connected, so you don't have to read the first book to understand the second book. So I'm hoping you don't have to read the second book to understand the third book, because I have the third book in the trilogy, but not the second, and I can't find the second anywhere. So the third book is called Bitter Blue, and I will be listening to that this week, starting that. That's also on YouTube. So I have the play away from the library, but I don't know if I'm going to play away it or just YouTube it. I haven't decided. I have read a fair bit of On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. I am here. I made the conscious effort to, we've been doing a lot of our reading time as audiobooks. Stop. Versus paper books, but one night I was like, nope, we're reading paper books because I need to read this. So I think tonight we're going to read paper books instead of starting the new audiobook so that I can finish this. It's really good. It's a really good story. So I didn't realize this last week when I was talking to you because it was pretty new, but I don't think there are any men in this universe. It's all of the women so far are female, and it takes place on the three main settings are a like a spaceship where it's a crew who does reconstruction work, a private school. So I didn't notice because whatever, sometimes crews and schools are completely female. But then the third place setting was someone's home, and her mom and sisters were there, but there was no male relatives. So I don't know for sure if it's only women in the universe of this book, but that was interesting. This is Heather from the middle of the night, and I realized that I had not talked about one of the books that I have been reading. It is My Almost Flawless Tokyo Dream Life by Rachel Kahn, who is one of my favorite young adult authors, and I've been listening to this through Audible for now until school resumes. Audible has hundreds of stories available for students to listen to for free, no registration required. I've been listening via that. This is the first book that I've listened to, and it is really good. It's young adult. It follows the main character, who is a high school junior or senior, and she is in the foster care system after her mom goes to jail, prison, and she is whisked away by her father, who she's never met, to Tokyo. I think I am on chapter 10 or so of 36, so I'm not very far in, but I love Rachel Kahn's writing, so I just love this book. I totally forgot to talk about something in works in progress, so I'm just going to show it here at the end. I have been, over the past week, I've put in probably like 5 hours onto this diamond painting. No, probably not. Probably like 3 to 4. This corner up here is all filled in, and this corner down here is mostly filled in. I'm working my way through all of the black so that I can do all of the fun stuff. I make myself work some of the black beads before I work some of the blue or gray beads, because there are 4 packages of black beads, and I try to do those first while the light is good because it's easy to see the other colors when the light is when the light's a little bit darker. But like the difference between, can you see these right here? The difference between the black beads and the dark blue beads, the colors of the squares are nearly identical, and the colors of the letter on the squares are identical. So sometimes when it's dark, it's hard to see whether it says A or B. But I've put in a lot of time on this, so I figured I would show it to you so you know where some of my crafting time is. And I'm really, really enjoying this as a diversionary craft from knitting. I've been having pain in my left hand because I've been doing a lot of purling, and I know there are different ways to purl. I don't want to learn one right now, so I've just been taking breaks. I have in the past learned how to do maybe Portuguese purling, and it was okay, but I don't know. So I'm just taking breaks and doing other crafts and dealing with small humans. So I'm going to let you go here and go make sure children are doing their schoolwork. You guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you hopefully next Monday.
And make sure they're not blowing up.
I know you guys aren't blowing up. Bye. Why is my daughter coming up the stairs? She has been banished to my room so that there's not this talking. Hurry up.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna use sheet of paper. Write down everything. Down who will be playing who.
Now Patrick's grounded. That was not supposed to happen. He was in charge of keeping her busy for the 30 minutes or so it would take to record a podcast. Grounded forever.